Good morning. So I've actually reassigned you this task from yesterday or the previous day, and the reason for that is I just want to make sure that you're really successful at the fundamentals of the formulas before we move on to anything more difficult. All right, so if you've gotten this, you've either indicated to me you need more help, or I've seen your quick check and thought maybe you could do with some review. All right, so fair warning, you will need to pay attention to this video for a password I will give out to actually take the exit slip, because there's no point taking the exit slip again if you haven't watched the video. So just make sure when you see the password, just remember it / write it down for later. All right, I'm not gonna give it to you now because you have to actually watch the video to find it. All right, so we're just gonna go through this problem by problem, and that way you can go work with me. You can pause it whenever you need to get a good lesson. This is all you'll be doing for class today, so please put some time into it. All right, so find the volume. The first question we want to ask ourselves is, what figure is this? And my options are cylinder, cone, sphere, hemisphere. So this shape has two circular bases. It is a cylinder. So I want to make sure I actually know what my cylinder formula is. So I'm going to take out the notes I had in my very first video, and there's formula sheets for you. The cylinder volume formula is pi times radius squared times height. So that means I need to ask myself, what is the radius? And what is the height? And I'm given two numbers. I'm given this 14 and I'm given this 11. So this 14 is the line across the middle of the circle. This 14 is the diameter. If the diameter is 14, the radius is half of the diameter. So the radius in this case is half of 14, which is 7. So my radius is 7. And my height is the vertical distance between my bases. So my height is actually going to be 11. So for my formula, I'm going to type in V equals pi times 7 squared times 11. All right? And when you type all that in, you're going to get a number that gets you one of the drop-down options. All right? I can either do it in terms of pi, it'll be something pi, or some other number. All right? And then for the next one, again, we have another figure. A can of baked beans has a diameter of 6.6 centimeters and a height of 9.9 centimeters. Find the amount of baked beans that could fit in the can. That's volume. And again, what shape is this figure? This figure it's a can. We know that a can looks kind of like this, but standing up. So a can is a cylinder. So again, pi r squared height. So I want to figure out again, what is my radius and what is my height? Say bye-bye to that pen. Well, let's see, my diameter is 6.6. So that means my radius is 6.6 divided by 2. And my height is 9.9. So my volume is going to be pi times radius squared times 9.9. So if you're following, you should be able to get all these answers correct on your exit slip. If 1 and 2 are wrong on your exit slip, I'll know you have not watched the video. That or you're having calculator error usages. If you're not sure how to use the calculator, please email me and say, I have a question. Or if you need to be like, hey, can we have like a Google Hangout so you can explain this to me one-on-one? We can do that too. Or just do email questions, whatever works for you. Next one, find the volume of the figure. Again, what shape is this? It is a cylinder, two circular bases. So V equals pi r squared height. Radius is actually given to us, it's 2. Height is 4. So my volume is pi times 2 times 2 times 4. So 2 times 2 is 4 times 4 is 16. So my volume is 16 pi, or roughly 50 point something, I think. Oh geez, not gonna do that. 50 point something. All right, so now I've got my first 3 cylinders done. So again, we wanna make sure we're doing everything carefully. Every problem is different. This time I already knew the radius. I didn't need to divide by 2. All right. At any point, feel free to pause and be like, I'll try the next one on my own. Number 4, a cylindrical vase is 10 inches tall and has a diameter of 3 inches. Find the volume of the figure. All right, it's a cylinder. So again, you'll notice they go kind of in order of what shape they are. All the cylinders are first. Cylinder. My volume is pi r squared. Height. Committing these to memory more and more. My radius is not given. The diameter is 3, so it's 3 divided by 2, or 1.5. My height is 10, so my volume is pi times 1.5 squared times 10. All right. My next shape is a what? Cone. Remember, a cone is 1/3 of a cylinder, so a cone is actually 1/3 pi r squared height. My radius is, well, the whole circle bottom is 16. That's my diameter. So my radius is 16 over 2, or just 8 inches. And my height is 24 inches. It's the distance from that peak all the way down to the middle of my base. Height's 24. So again, volume is 1/3 times pi times 8 squared, radius squared, times 24. All right, so a piece of candy corn is in the shape of a cone. I've got a cone down here for number 6. I could try it on my own if I wanted to. 1/3 pi r squared height. And again, I could look at my formula sheet if I want to. Here is my formula sheet from the first video. I'll post this as well. 1/3 pi r squared height, or pi r squared height divide by 3. All right, let's see. My radius is, let's see, the diameter is 1 centimeter. So, okay, my radius is 1/2, or 0.5. And my height is 2. Candy corn is 2 centimeters tall, apparently. Look at that. So then, my volume is 1/3 times pi times, 0.5 squared times 2. And this one, I will say the rounding is a little bit funky. If you do all this math, you should get, let's see, 1/4 times 1/3 is a 12th, times 2 is a 6th. You should get about 0.16 pi, or that works out to roughly 0.52-ish. And the answer sheet, the answers are kind of a little bit off from that, so just be wary. So that one definitely, that's literally the answer you're going to select, so there's no excuse for that to be wrong. So at this point, your password is sponge, all lowercase, SPONGE. So question 7 on the back. Find the volume of the cone. Again, it's a cone. V equals 1/3 times pi times radius squared times height. Now this one I'll grant you is a little weird. This one is actually done for you almost all the way on the previous video. So at least if you watched the video, that one should have been good. But the height of this cone is 13. That 15 was the slant height. So my volume is 1/3 times pi times, well, my radius is 15 is again the diameter. So radius is 15 over 2, because I need half that distance. So 7.5. So my radius is 7.5 squared times my height was 13. So equals 1/3 times pi times 7.5 squared times 13. All right, that was all odd, just the wording of it. And then I've got a hemispherical bowl. It's a hemisphere. So my formula, I'll use my sphere formula, V equals 4/3 pi r cubed, and I'll just cut that in half because it's half of a sphere. So 4/3 pi r cubed, cut it in half. And all I need here is my radius. Do I have the radius? No. Diameter 7. The radius is going to be 7 divided by 2, or just 3.5. So I got 4/3 times pi times 3.5 cubed, and then take all of that and divide it by 2 for a hemisphere. All right. Number 9, volume. The shape is a sphere. It's a full ball. It's the full three-dimensional circular solid. So I'm going to use, again, volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. My radius is it 9? No, my radius is not 9. My diameter is 9. So my radius is 4.5. I'm always looking at what is that line representing. Is it the radius or is it the diameter? A lot of times in realistic situations, they give us the diameter because most people talk more about that than radius, but the radius is the important one in the calculations. There's my math for that. And again, there's a video for using the calculator on Classroom somewhere. I can reattach it to this if you wish. Or it might be part of a different video. I'll make a new one, why not? The radius of a mini basketball is 4 inches. What is the volume? Well, it's still a basketball. The radius is 4, though. They've already given us the radius is 4. So the volume is 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. Find the volume of the sphere. That radius is also 8. That radius is given to us. So volume is 4/3 times pi times radius cubed, and that radius is just 8. So 4/3 times pi times 8 cubed. And then last one, Ms. McCullough is purchasing balloons for a party, each spherical balloon inflated with helium to a diameter of 18 centimeters. How much air is needed to fill one balloon? So diameter is 18, so radius is 18/2, which is 9 centimeters. So my volume is 4/3 pi times radius cubed. So volume is 4/3 times pi times 9 cubed. All right. So I'll post a video of the calculator just to get us help next. All right.